Hey guys, Moldran here, and recently I made a video about the new action RPG MMO Lineage Eternal, and today I want to show you more about the gameplay mechanics and stuff in the game. Now first I'm going to talk about the dungeons. Now the game has fully randomized dungeons, instant dungeons that you can choose. It's kind of like a Lego or like a puzzle, where every time you enter a new dungeon, it's going to be completely randomized. It's going to be new monsters, new mob density, new bosses, new traps even, new layouts. Pretty much everything is going to be random. It will be generated every time you start a new dungeon. It's kind of like Diablo, but with even more randomization to extend the longevity of the game. And now I'm going to show quickly about what types of dungeons there are and how they can be, for example. Now, currently in the client there's 8 different layers of dungeons. You can see here, for example, on top left there's the 1 versus 1 vision, and on the top right you can see how one of those simple creation can look like. You can see the different things here. There's 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, 4 versus 4, and you can see, for example, the first type. Look at the mob density here. Monsters spawn, you can see like the monsters can be different, they can have different attacks, they can have different experience values, and what's really interesting is, for example, things like this. Now this thing is kind of like where waves of monsters keep coming. No, this is where actually the boss is. So you can see a boss and several minions, and you try to fight them off. It's kind of interesting, and the next thing that's going to be shown is actually one of the waves. Now this is kind of like the Jar of Souls events, but just on a much larger, much bigger scale. You can see here, look at the mob density. The monsters are all coming, and that's just like wave 1, but as it progresses, like this dungeon keeps getting harder and harder and more difficult. Now the whirlwind barb here, or whirlwind character, you can see, look, now there's monsters coming from every side, from each 3 sides, and even from the side where there is no corridor, monsters kept coming. And it's really going to be crucial to like build your character and really make efficient use of your AoE skills. And what's even better is when you actually play those dungeons in a multiplayer setting with your friends. Now, because they're going to be so challenging and probably also going to have big rewards. And that's what I'm going to start today with, the dungeon system, but the game has, of course, to offer a lot more than that. Now, the game is supposed to launch with 5 classes, and what I also want to show is the skill tree. Now the skill tree can be seen, let me find this quickly, here. Yeah, and here you can see the skill tree. And each character is going to start with 8 skills, and it's not really a big number, but the game wants you to start out on a low level. I mean, still more than Diablo, but so you can easily understand it. And the higher you get, after level 50, for example, which is supposed to be level cap, players can get hero status. And then they get heroic skills, which further extends their power and stuff. And now the skill tree I explained already a bit in my last video. You can see there's 3 different paths. And you can choose, for example, what do you want to do with the skill? Do you want to change the form of the skill, or do you want to increase the range? There's the 3 different layers that I explained pretty well in the last video, and that's really sick for theory crafting, because you have 8 of those skills, and each of those 8 skills you can completely customize. You can customize, for example, okay, I'm going to increase the range a bit, or I'm going to increase the area of effect impact radius of the skill. For example, let's say you play the Elementalist, a wizard character, and you have, let's say, something like Meteor. Then you can actually decide, okay, do you want the Meteor to be 10 meters diameter instead of 8 meters diameter, or do you want to be able to cast it at a longer range, for example at 20 meters instead of just 50 meters range. Now those are all choices you have to make, and they're actually meaningful. They're kind of like, reminds me a lot on the Diablo 2 skill tree, a bit on the Path of Exile one, but it's not like as complicated as Path of Exile one, where you really think like you have to be like a math expert or something to really do well in that one. But this is actually one where like every decision matters, and every decision is meaningful. And it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to make it with respecking. Like, are you able to respec on the fly for the cost, or are you going to have to pay gold for it? Now, I really liked the original World of Warcraft system for respecking, where you're paying an increasing fee for respecs. You know, maybe the Diablo 2 one, the original Diablo 2 one, where you couldn't respec at all, it was a bit too hardcore. But I think the current World of Warcraft one, where you can, or Diablo 1, where you can just change whenever you want, do whatever you want, is a bit too easy. Like, there should be like a nice in between those 2 systems, where maybe there's a little cost and they're more of new respec, so you actually think twice about like changing your character. But the other things is PvP. Now the game is gonna offer like big epic battles. Now 40 versus 40, up to 100 versus 100 outdoor battles. The game engine is supposed to support hundreds of players on the map, and also like, for example, 500 monsters. So the mob density is pretty much unlimited, which was always one problem with Diablo. Now in Diablo, for example, the one patch they increased the mob density Weeping Hollow, but as a result, the people really enjoyed it, but as a result, a lot of like computers could not handle the new mob density, because there was server issues and stuff, so people started lagging and rubber banding. So Blizzard reduced the mob density again, unfortunately, unfortunately, which made the game, of course, less fun. But this gameplay engine with Unreal 3 actually supports this, and that's going to be really cool. And there's also going to be this castle battle. So for example, if let's say we build a clan, we build the Moldran clan, we have 100 people in it, and then we can actually fight against other clans for the possession of a castle. Now a lot of Korean games or a lot of old MMOs had this already, but what's going to be really cool is, for example, if there's other streamers who also like have their own teams, and then you battle off, okay, who's going to own the castle for 1 week now, and then next week you have to defend the castle against the others to make sure to retain your ground. Now the game's also going to offer outdoor PvP. There's going to be some special designated player kill areas, so some old Diablo 2 player killers or headhunters or people who just wanted the ears of others gonna also have fun. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about, I think, mostly. What's more important is the game is going to launch with 5 classes into open beta. There's going to be, of course, other things like crafting system, but there isn't really that much information about the game because they're still like working on it. Now they started working on 2008, now it's 2014, so 6 years already of development, which is a very long time. But yeah, there's a lot of bosses, 80 bosses, heroic levels, already talked about that. And they also said that current development is 1/3 completed. But now what's really important is, when is the game coming out? When can we play it in beta? Is there going to be a global release? And those questions I'm going to answer here at the end now. First thing is, yes, there will be a global release. So the game is going to release in Korea at the same time and the rest of the world, which is awesome for a Korean game. Now the second thing is the dates. And the dates currently are closed beta is supposed to launch in early 2015. I suppose it's mostly going to be Korean. And the game is supposed to launch or to go into open beta into early 2016. There I'm not sure if it's going to be Korean or US already or Western world already. And the game is supposed to launch in late 2016 or early 2017. Now, so that means at least 2 more years, and that's a very, very long time. But the thing is, like, they really take the time to make the game. Now, when you take a look, for example, at Diablo could have been so much more if the developers had just like had more time to work on the game. But Blizzard rushed the launch, probably under pressure from Activision. You have to get the game out now. It's March 2012. Release whatever you got, and that led to many things like the bad optimization system the game had at start and so on. Now the game got improved a lot meanwhile, but it still like received a lot of negative feedback at the launch, and it probably would have a lot more players if it would have been already a sick game at launch without any negative feedback. The same problem that Diablo had, many other games had. For example, Guild Wars 2 was not that great at launch, even though I liked it in beta a lot, but in launch there were several things missing. For example, the PvP didn't even have ranking system or special queuing system. There were no rewards pretty much. Same thing is with Star Wars The Old Republic. The game also had no real end game in the start, or very limited versions of it. Same was with Wildstar. Same was with Marvel Heroes, and a lot of those games like Star Wars The Old Republic, Marvel Heroes, Diablo 3, they have been improved vastly since launch. They've been really improved a lot. But because they didn't have a big impact at launch, the games are currently not at where other games are standing. For example, one game I always like to mention is World of Warcraft was sick at launch. World of Warcraft was sick at launch and managed to like really snowball this and be a really great game for many, many years until people started getting bored of it. And the same thing is with Hearthstone. Now, Hearthstone at launch, it was perfect. Like there were almost no bugs, apart from like Defender of Argus bug and so on, that kept going. But the game at launch was pretty much flawless. It was a lot of fun already, and it didn't receive really like any negative feedback. Like for example, Diablo or Marvel Heroes got when those games got released. And that's why I think it's okay that Lineage Eternal like really that the Korean developers really like don't rush anything. They really like think 10 times about something that they do and really try to make the game like as amazing as they can at launch. Now, I hope, as I said before, that maybe we can get in one of those closed or at least open betas international version, because from what I've seen so far, the game looks like it could really be one of the next biggest games, action RPGs, and we'll see how it's gonna go. NCSoft definitely has the resources in terms of marketing, and there is I still believe that there's a lot of hardcore gamers out there who would love to play an action RPG with MMO elements in it. I mean, I'm up for that. I'm down for that, and maybe some of you are, so we can at least make a guild once it comes out. Thanks for watching. I'll be back.